All right, I am back. Woohoo! That's crazy. All right, anyways. Um, Old School RuneScape Leagues is back in about 3 hours. I just got back from the road, and I have only been seeing a little bit of everything, but I've been strategizing, planning, and I'm gonna walk through everything. Maybe it does help, also my thinking, but also in case you haven't decided on anything, we're just gonna take a little chill route this year. Have some fun, not grinding for top ranks, not just we'll see. Maybe I'll play for 3 days, and maybe I'll play for 3 weeks. Who knows? Anyways, everything is gonna be streamed at twitch.tv/BlestHades. I probably should have put this in the beginning. So yeah, pretty much it. Welcome to the Chill Guys potentially leagues strategy guide. Whatever. I don't know. It's a discussion. So just let's talk through some of this stuff. So, in case you guys don't know yet, basically, Leagues is Old School RuneScape's kind of cracked up game mode. You're going to have to complete tasks, choose a few of the different places, and everything is going to be giga boosted, right? We're going to go through the stuff, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. All right. So first of all, I wanted to go through kind of like the idea that I personally wanted to do. Last year, we actually did a full raids relics. So basically, I've been feeling kind of poor all the time, and I wanted to, earn some money, and in a non-existent game mode and temporary game mode. But I wanted to collect all the mega rares, which is what I did, and I didn't really do anything else. This year, I'm just gonna have some fun. All right, we'll see. If I'm gonna play until I finish in quote unquote finish my objectives, which we'll decide. But anything after that, we'll see. So, since last year we took melee relic, this year I kind of am thinking about doing something different, which is probably go range. With that in mind, we're gonna choose a few of the different things. So my initial plan was actually to go through the different regions, and I wanted to choose Asgarnia, mainly for the dog sword, which I'll explain in a little bit. But mainly because we have God Wars Dungeon, which has basically a lot of different bosses and a lot of different content to kind of go through. We do want to choose at least one raids so that we can get the mega rares and camp it out. And the rest is just kind of a little bit, depending on the situation. So, with that in mind, we're going to kind of jump through a lot of different things because, first of all, this year we have a lot of different kind of activities, right? We have, first of all, you have to choose your areas like last year. Second, you also have to choose your relics like last year. And also the combat masteries, which is a whole different thing. And last of all, the echo bosses and echo equipment. So, first of all, we already decided that we wanted to go God Wars, probably. And by the way, apparently it's where everybody burns out. So, yeah. So quickly going through kind of the regions, right? Just so we know. These are going to be probably my regions, which are going to be changing throughout this video, I would say. Caridian Desert for 1, the Echo Boss's Blowpipe. And for TOA, because TOA gives Missouri, which we mentioned for the range relic, range mode. And that's pretty much it. And plus, it's just TOA is a nice, easy raid to kind of go through and kind of push invocations. Is it the most fun? Probably not, but it's easier. The other one we're going to go is Asgarnia, as we mentioned. Asgarnia mainly just because we do have, again, God Wars and the Dog Sword, which we're going to mention in a tiny little bit more. Also, we apparently have Void, which is supposedly really good. The last one we're going to probably choose is going to be Fremennik. This year, we do have Fremennik as a more supportive region. We have the jewelry and the ring. Well, jewelry, like the necklace and also the ring, which is going to be best in slot for basically all of PVM. So, as we mentioned, PVM is probably going to be the main thing that we're going to do. Maybe we're going to go for max. I'm not sure yet. So, notable, well, let's just make everything a little bit bigger, right? So, notable things in this, we're going to have, this is for the desert. We're going to have basically Kalphite Queen, which we don't care about unless it's Echo. Tombs of Masket, Leviathan, and the Echo Boss. Asgarnia, we're going to have Whisper. Cerberus, Giant Mole, which we don't care about, and basically God Wars, including Nex, which is something I personally haven't learned yet, and that's where we're going to go for. As for Fremennik feels like it's going to be more of a supportive region, but after looking a little bit more, I realized we do have we have Vorkath, we have Waterbirth Island for basically DKs, and Garrick Dungeon, which we're going to get Duke, and also, what's his face? Muspla, which is not going to give us anything, to be honest, but, it's a little bit of variety. So one of the main reasons that one of the main things that I did not want to choose was, well, actually, let's go through the different regions first, actually. Kandarin, nobody really picks Kandarin. You're going to have, I think, Demonic Gorillas, which if you're going there just for the jewelry, not really worth it because now you have Fremennik, right? Desert, Mauritania. Mauritania is actually one of the hardest picks for me because of the amount of content that we have. I know it's kind of a crazy thing, but I actually didn't want to pick Mauritania because of how much content there is. Look at this. Barrels, you're going to have to camp a lot of barrels. I'm not sure if you guys see this, but yeah. There's too much content when it comes to barrels, right? Second, you're going to have Grotesque Guardians, which is okay. You definitely do have to pick that, and it's kind of fun. You're going to have Nightmare, which you have normal Nightmare, and then you're going to have Fasani. Spider Cave, which you're going to have Araxer. Shades of Morton, well, nobody really cares about that. Sir Tower with everything in it, which also includes Grotesque Guardians. Theater of Blood, and then also the Echo Bosses. Right. That's just a little bit of like too much stuff to really green log. If I want to play leagues, one of the things I want to do is potentially the green log, and we're going to talk about something a little bit later. Now, what we also have for the other regions are going to be... I cannot figure it out. Yeah. Tiranwin is going to be pretty nice, but because of... Which actually one of the things they have this year is that Tiranwin is going to allow you to do a melee build as well, which is actually even better than Torva with the crystal stuff from the Echo Bosses. But you're going to still have to run a lot of Gauntlet, and then there's Zulrah, and that's pretty much it. So it's good, but it's a grind, and you're going to have to be farming a lot of stuff, and it just feels kind of like a grind that's not going to be that interesting for me, at least. Wilderness is Wilderness. I'm very scared of Wilderness. I don't like it. But in case you're looking for a lot of PVM and stuff like that, it's kind of a lot. The problem with Wilderness PVM is that there's not going to be much, not going to be really difficult bosses to do, but it's a lot of grind for Voidwaker and all that kind of stuff. So not sure how I feel about that one. Korend is mainly fun because you're going to get Chambers of Xeric, which is always going to be fun. But other things, I would say Hydra, Shaman for the Dragon Warhammer grind. Not sure how that's going to be. And Hispori. Plus you get the Farmers Guild. But again, it's all right. One of the biggest contenders this year is actually going to be Varlamore, which I think, including myself, is very, very new to a lot of people. I honestly have not touched Varlamore at all. I've never done Moon's Apparel. I haven't done Fortress Coliseum. The new never touched. And the Huaycodal, never touched either. For Dorvis, a little bit, but I feel like it's not really going to be that fun. The problem with Varlamore is that, well, which brings us to the next point, is the Echo Bosses. So when we're deciding on what we want to do when it comes to choosing regions, we also want to choose Echo Bosses and Echo Equipment that is going to help us or be a little bit fun. So the one for Desert, the reasons why I chose mine were because basically the Echo Bosses. For Desert, once you defeat the Kalphite Queen, you get to kind of go into and fight the Echo version of Kalphite Queen, which gives a blowpipe that is going to be very, very accurate. Think of it as a Fang for ranged. I think that will carry me through the early stages of ranged, which is going to be fun. But later on, I will be switching that over to, I believe, a Xeric crossbow or a twisted bow. The dog sword is basically everything, every single god sword that you have from every single thing all in one. Is it good? I don't know, but it's funny. That's literally why I'm gonna choose it. That in conjunction with the whole God Wars, I think it's gonna be really, really fun. Wilderness, again, I'm not gonna choose, but basically it gives you trigger lightning bolt and area effect, as well as the 1000 dragon ward is really good because you get to negate all sorts of kind of status effects, right? Poison, venom, dragon fire, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Kind of good, kind of not good. You decide, right? Mortania, okay. Again, Mortania is one of the things I didn't want to pick mainly because of this. I feel like I'm gonna have too many options. So it functions as Barrow's equipment when you wear it, and it gives bonus effects for every single thing. Now the problem with this one for me is that I'm gonna have to wear Barrow's entire Barrow's equipment. Otherwise, it's just gonna function as Barrow's gloves. You know, it's great. If I wear Darroch's, it's gonna do impressive amounts of damage. But the thing is about Barrow's equipment is it's kind of mid-game. So I'm gonna have to choose later on. It's like, oh, end game, do I want to wear full Inquisitor with this Barrow's glove? If I do, you know, is it gonna be best in slot? If I don't, did I just waste all my time farming this and without, you know, maximizing my time and having fun, right? Obviously, it's leagues, have fun all you want, but that's how I personally feel about it. You know, I'm gonna grind through all my Darroch's and then my Torags, my Carols, my Arims later on just to have it replaced by potentially best in slot Virtus, for me at least, or, you know, Armadillo, Void, or Missouri, or any, like, you know, any of the other things. I didn't want to have to go through that, so I just said, hey, screw it, we're not going to go Mauritania. That's what I initially thought. So Fremenic is actually really cool because we have Amulet of the Monarchs and Emperor Ring. Once we finish killing all the Decadent Kings, this is actually going to be best in slot for, I think, both of these slots. So huge supportive region. Devil's Element basically maximizes a lot of elemental damage when it comes to mage. Most of the people are not going to be choosing this. We could just brush through that. Kiranwan is pretty cool because once you do get kind of... It's basically... Normally, you have the bonus damage and accuracy when it comes to Bofa and the Crystal set. Now, if you wear the Crystal Blessing, you're going to include that over to melee, which is really, really cool because now you can have, you know, a really, really interesting melee builds when it comes to that. Because I'm not going to choose melee builds, that's why I'm going to kind of cross this out for myself. Kurend, Nature's Reprisal is something that you're going to get through Hespori. And it gives you a little bit of like a cool item that you're going to have melee, ranged, and magic on. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just kind of like a tribrid setup, which feels kind of boring. I mean, it's not like anything that's like overly cool, right? Varlamore is something that is very interesting, which is why I wanted to mention this. Basically, you get something that the Sunlight Spear gives you. It's kind of confusing. Every time you use a spear, you get Sunlight stacks and it adds up to 20, and your special attack basically consumes it and do more damage according to prayer bonus. One, we're in leagues. Prayer bonus feels like it's something that we're not going to be using that much because of how much we get to go back and forth. But Sunlight Bracers are very interesting, which I really, really think is really cool. In conjunction with basic healing modifiers and also, I believe, food. Basically, it doubles all the bonus healing effects. I'm not sure if it goes with food, actually. I'm not really sure. Healing received. Either way, right? With Blood Barrage, Blood Spells, Blood Fury, and Guthans, it's going to be really cool. But if you're choosing this, you're probably not going to be able to wear Barrow's armors. So again, it's like, how is that going to work, right? Too much thinking. I didn't want to go with it. So therefore, my picks felt like it was going to be Desert, Asgarnia, and Fremenic for these three. Now, as for the relics, the combat. So this is what it looks like in general. Most people, from what I've heard, are going to be either going melee or ranged. But the way it works is that you have to do their tasks, defeat a giant, defeat 10 monsters, blah, blah, Scurious, Slayer requirement, Jad, combat level, Echo Boss, blah, blah, blah. See, basically what you want to do is hit level 6 for your main style, because the reason why you want to do that is you want to get the passive. Attacks with all styles now have 60% prayer penetration, which means you might be able to just blast through Tormented Demons, or for instance, if you're going for TOA Warden Part 2, P2. I'm not sure. There's a lot of stuff that goes through, but it feels like it'll be, you definitely want to hit level 6. Most people, you're going to go like maybe 460, 361, 163. I don't know. We'll see. But for me, I'm probably going to be doing 460 or a 262. Maybe a 361. Not sure. Basically 6 is guaranteed, but because I'm probably going to be using a dog sword, having a scythe with the attack speed is probably going to be really fun. And rolling over 90%, if you roll over 90% of your max hit with magic, which we're going to have a shadow, it's going to increase by 50%. Sounds very cool, because you definitely want to like maximize this. I'm not going to go 4-6 or a 3-6, like a 0-6-4. Mainly just because I think we're going to have enough healing, and we're not going to really have to go through that. But for the third one, the attack speed feels like it's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, 2 is something that we're going to consider as well. Max hit is increased by 5% per tick in between your attacks. What the hell am I reading? Echo hit is going to be cool. All right, that's all I'm going to say. My brain is not working right now. I'm getting overloaded. Do as you will. Right. Not going to go through all the different things, but basically attack speed, good. All that kind of stuff, good. Accuracy, good. The main thing I think is also very interesting right now when it comes to range is that you want to be prioritizing damage, range strength over range accuracy, because at one point, I'm not even going to need range accuracy, right? It's going to help in the early game, but towards the end, you just want bigger hits because you're going to be hitting it anyways. So that's what I have for this. And then we go into relics. Well, this is shorter than I imagined. Okay. So how are we going to do this? All right. All right. So for the first relic, we're going to pull this on the side, obviously. First relic, according to basically what we're going to be seeing, is I personally am going to go Animal Wrangler because of food. Also because I get to AFK. So if you get something earlier, you want to go Karambwans, you could basically AFK fish for 25 minutes. And it's going to be, a lot of them is going to be already cooked, which is really, really nice for a passive thing. Woodcutting and Power Miner feels like it's going to be something that's we could do AFK on the side as well. But Animal Wrangler just gives me more time to PVM, and it feels like it's going to be kind of interesting. Maybe I will come back later on and choose something different, but for now, it feels like it was going to be Animal Wrangler. So mining, Power Miner is kind of the same thing. You have a chance to smelt it into ores. And Lumberjack gives a chance to kind of burning it into fire making. Arrow Shafts, I feel like we're not going to be using that much. So even if we're a range relic, I think it's fine because, again, we do have the passive chance to save everything, right? So not sure, but that's what I'm going to figure out as we go. Second tier, the problem is I'm not sure how much herblore and farming is probably going to be one of the most difficult things. So we're probably going to go Friendly Forager. I am perfectly fine with just spam clicking pickpocketing as we go. It might suck now that I think about it. Pickpocketing might suck, but I think it's perfectly fine. We will figure that part out as we go. Do I have the thing? No, I don't have the thing. Obviously, we could also just do pickpocketing. That's one thing that a lot of people are going to do. Agility, I think is fine. Honestly, we do have a few agility courses, Falador agility course, Relica agility course. I think that's okay. And also I have the Pyramid Plunder. Sorry, not sorry. Pyramid Plunder is something I will have to do. So dodgy deals feels like it's going to be a little bit of a waste. My goal overall is always just to be maybe I want to be maxing and I want to be using downtime to have supplies so that I can go do more PVM. Right, that feels like it's most fun. So this will definitely try to help my herb lore stuff a little bit more. Now, third one is tier 3, which is Fairy's Flight, Bank Heist, and Clue Compass, which is, I think, a little bit hard to figure out. Fairy's Flight is something that people are not choosing as much this year, I believe. But Bank Heist and Clue Compass, I think that stash units are a lot more interesting. Definitely, it's, we have 116 places to TP2 compared to Bank Heist, which definitely a lot lower. So we could always just go through this and take a look at, oh my God, I don't know. Yeah. So as Asgardia, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's kind of nice. But the thing, and also for Desert, I have like maybe 8, 9 places. One thing that beats Bank Heist, one thing that this beats when it comes to the stash unit is basically the Ancient Prison. If I want to be doing next, which I will be doing a lot of next, teleporting there allows me to skip kill count, which is great. Stash units, not as much. But, the thing is, if I want to be just storing items, stash unit is definitely going to help. Because there are going to be stash units that are close to the banks, but a lot of banks are not close to stash units. Reminder that I do personally, if I want to go range relic, I do need to get myself a pair of ranger boots. So I will be having to camp out medium clues quite some bit. This year, they did mention that we're not going to have as many medium clues, points for clues. So maybe it's going to be a little bit not as important. But for me, I definitely still have to get my medium clues. So that's basically why I'm going to be choosing Clue Compass from what I'm imagining. And yeah. And it also, just helps me with that. And also, yeah. Tier 4, Golden God, Reloaded, Equilibrium. Equilibrium, we've all seen before, gives bonus XP. It's good if you want to go for maxing, which I don't think it really helps that much. 25, 50 mil if you want to go for higher ranks when it comes to tiers for competing. Golden God feels like it's going to be really good early. So it gives you kind of AFK for gold, 65% chance to not be consumed when the spell. So it gives you a lot of money, and it gives you also prayer this year, which is great. For me, I'm probably going to have Vorkath later on, so prayer feels like it's going to be okay. Personally, for me, if I'm playing an Iron Man mode, I feel like I don't need money that much. Also, not knowledgeable because I don't play Iron Man modes. Last year, I did have to pay a lot of deaths, coffers. This year, hopefully, I'm just going to get money passively. If not, I will be camping things that give me a lot of alcohols. I am okay with camping Vorkath, getting the prayer and getting the money and just kind of going with that. We'll see. We'll really see when it comes to that. But Reloaded is something that's very interesting. Basically, it allows us to choose relics from previous tiers. And, well, you're not going to be choosing from teleports, probably. So a lot of people are considering going Friendly Forager and Dodgy Deals. Or, for me, maybe I'm considering Animal Wrangler and paired with another AFK, Pyre Miner, or Lumberjack. Could be very interesting, but I think I might be going for Friendly Forager and Dodgy Deals. Just so I can kind of AFK some of the pickpocketing and really just... But, getting to 99 pickpocketing, thieving, probably is going to be okay. So we're going to see. We're going to see as we get there. Now, Tier 5 is going to be Treasure Arbiter, Production Master, and Slayer Master, which is absolutely insane. Production Master we've seen before, it's just going to help you kind of go through all the AFK stuff a little bit faster. I personally want to have some AFK stuff, so I will not be choosing Production Master as much. Treasure Arbiter is interesting. It's not going to give us a lot of points this year, but for me, I desperately need Ranger Boots. Which is okay, I only need Ranger Boots, so do I want to go for Treasure Arbiter? Because again, It has more chances to drop things, and it will have the lowest number of clues 10 times more often, and it will roll basically a lot of different ones, right? And these things will no longer have item requirements. The question is, throughout the playing of like, let's say 2-3 weeks, I'm trying to get like my high tiers, will I be able to hit my ranger boots? If I do, then this is useless because I don't need anything else. But, if I don't, well then, not having ranger boots will be a really, really bad thing for me, at least. Now, the other very fun thing is Slayer Master, which feels like kind of a shame because basically you're going to be on task for all Slayer monsters. This includes boss tasks. This includes everything, right? So if you want to be, if you're even if you're focused on bossing, everything is going to be considered on task. Kriara is going to be on task for you. Mole is going to be on task for you. Zora, like a boss, it's all included, right? From what I'm understanding. Even if you're doing like Verzik counts as spider, I believe. So, you could wear a Slayer helm in. Basically, if you have a Slayer helm, it's 15% for a lot of different bosses that you're going to be able to have it within the game. Now, the question. If you don't have Mauritania, you're not going to be able to have a Slayer helm. And that's exactly what makes me feel bad about it, because I don't have Mauritania. Would I feel terrible not picking Mauritania? Would I feel like I'm forced to pick Mauritania just so I can utilize the Slayer Master? I'm not sure. Right. But then again, I could skip and block tasks for free, which means I will be able to get XP. So for me, this is going to be like, okay, I will be able to get, I'll be able to get my imbued heart if I want to farm for it, possibly a little bit more. And I get to skip and block tasks. Basically, it's just going to be skilling for me in regards to getting Slayer. And if I do want to do Slayer bosses that are locked, basically, well, I'm not going to have Kraken, right? I'm not going to have Araxer either. So it's like, is it really worth it? I'm not really sure. I'm going to be honest. But yeah. Oh, if you're in Great Kurend or if you are in Wilderness, you also get Brimstone Keys and Laran Keys. Is that what it's called? So that's also worth considering. Now, tier 6, let's talk about it. So yeah, this I haven't really decided. I think it will really depend on whether or not I do hit my Ranger Boots early, and then we'll see. Tier 6, Total Recall and Banker's Note, which is, I think, very easy to decide. Total Recall this year is you're gonna be able to set your place, TP somewhere else, and then you could always just recall back. So you could really easily just like go in, full spec, come out, teleport to your house. Well, actually, no. You're going to go in, use all your specs, or just like kill something, and then just TP out, and then just go back in, TP out, go back in. I think it's great for if you're out of an instance. But the problem for me is I'm going to be doing like basically TOA. I'm going to be doing a lot of, and I don't know. It just feels like Banker's Note is going to be more fun because again, last year, the way I did it was just I spam Banker's Note over and over and over, and I just have infinite food. I'm bad at the game, and that's how I feel like playing it. And I want to be able to utilize things in the maximum amount of ways. With Total Recall, it just feels like it's going to be, I'm never going to be able to use it in raids or instances, which kind of feels like, I'm not using it to my maximum potential. Tier 7, Pocket Kingdom, Grimoire, and Overgrown. Pocket Kingdom allows you to use basically Magic Miscellanea, which gives you a lot of resources. So if you're worried about not hitting your goals for farming or herbs, this is going to be pretty nice. But the ones that most people are going to be thinking about is Grimoire and Overgrown. Grimoire allows you to basically use every single spellbook, which you're going to be locked out if you don't have basically Desert and... what was the other one? Not Firminic. Desert and Asgardia, right? I forgot. But basically, switching between spellbooks is going to be a little bit difficult. So, Astral. Yes. Lunars, right. So that's for Firminic. It also adds to this Book of the Dead. It's kind of nice, but the main thing is also if you don't have Chambers of Xeric, you're not going to be having Piety. Sorry, you're not going to be having Rigor and also the Arcane. No, I'm watching too much Arcane. That mage one, whatever it's called. Again, the old school team has mentioned that basically you don't really need it in order to actually, you're going to be doing more than enough damage. But if you do want to have access to like blood spells, 100% you might want to be picking this one. If you hate farming, this is something that I think Overgrown can help. For me, I'm going to be choosing this one in case I feel like I'm running out of farming and also like pots and all that kind of stuff. But for now, I'm going to be picking Grimoire until later date, I would say. Tier 8, we're almost done. We're almost done. Tier 8, again, we have Last Stand like last year. It's kind of different. Guardian is very similar as last year, but I think they did buff it a little bit more. So basically, Guardian just gives you a Thrall that's like a really, really good Thrall, and you could just use it as, you know, anywhere that you want. 30 minutes this time, by the way. Specialist, same as last year. If you do have special attack weapons and you want to just spec dump, if I did choose a melee relic, I would 100% using a specialist with a dog sword and just going and spamming this over and over and over and just basically never die. I think that's pretty cool. I could also be using this with Xerac crossbow, which basically allows me to do like 500 damage to bosses with a ranged relic, ranged build. I think it's pretty cool, but I'm not really sure about how I want to do that just yet. But I think because I'm bad at the game and I die a lot, I will probably be using the Last Stand, which basically is if you die, you're going to be reduced to 1 HP. Your stats are going to be 255 very, very fast for 16 ticks, and it's just ticking down. And by the end of 16 ticks, you're going to be healed as much damage as you have done. I'm not sure if you can overheal as much, but we're going to see how much that is. It's going to help me if I'm going to be doing Inferno or basically doing a lot of stuff. If I want to just reset stats over and over, I could just do that as well. It's basically just a prevention. I don't think I'm going to be using this until later on if I'm more comfortable with things. It's just kind of that. So yeah, everything else basically just bonus drop rates and all that kind of stuff. That's what we're going to get. Oh, also, one thing we didn't mention, everything is going to be built according to in full. So for me, you know, see, this is exactly why I didn't want to do Mauritania, because look at how much stuff I want to, like, I have to farm if I want to collect. That's a lot. You know, I already have to do all this kind of stuff. Yeah. If I want to do less, I would go Gauntlet, but, you know, there's not much content when it comes to there. So if I do want to go, and also, like, yeah, Fortis Coliseum, the entire Furthermore, that's a lot of stuff. So for me, nice and easy. I just have to collect all the rings and all that kind of stuff. Vorkath. I'm not even going to finish Vorkath, probably. Duke. Well, I'll be doing Duke for the Virtus for my range, for my mage. And then it's a lot of different bosses when it comes to Asgardia for all the God Wars and just farming my best of slots. So I have my Torva. I have my... Well, Torva, I still need my... So Torva, I have to do my... basically my full melee set. My Kriara, so that I can form it later with my Desert when it comes to the TOA. Where is my stuff? I don't, okay, anyways. Yeah, that's it. This is a very rambly video. I'm not even going to edit it. Hope it wasn't too bad. Bear with me. Watch, don't watch. I don't know. Don't care. I just needed to record something. All right, it's been too long. Yeah, I'm going to be streaming this live, so be sure to pop by and talk to me about how I'm doing things right or wrong. Maybe give me ideas. Or talk to me, ask me for advice, maybe. I don't know. But I think it's going to be pretty fun. We're going to be playing this either 3 days, 3 weeks, or the entire time. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. This year, it's going to be nice and chill. And we're going to figure out the goal as we go. And just have some fun as we do. I'm going to, again, I think that's it. Yeah, I give up. Anyways, peace. See you guys on stream.